Hi, Keir Starmer. We despise you because you look and sound like the horrible sneaky kid at school who held the bully's jacket and smirked while he beat up a smaller, weaker kid. We despise you because you care more about sausages than you do people. We despise you because you let a rich donor buy your wife's clothes and pay for a personal shopper. Is she so stupid that she doesn't know how to buy a frock or a nightie? We despise you because you have a morally and intellectually bankrupt bevy of Teletubbies for your cabinet. No-brainer Raina, who looks like the girl who always sat at the back of the class talking to her mates about boys instead of paying attention to the lesson, and would always be tottering off to the toilets in high heels with a gang of her mates to carry on talking about boys and lipstick. Rachel from Complaints, who was so dowdy and frumpy that no one was interested in her. So she decided to be a swot. But the problem was she wasn't very bright. So to get round that, she just made up qualifications and work experience, and it worked. Mastermind David Lammy, who does a great impersonation of a hotel towel, thick and chubby. Even his IQ tests came back negative. Jess Phillips, who is always banging on about women's rights but is frightened of rocking the boat when it comes to really going after the Pakistani rape gangs. This is a war on our children and a war on our culture, and needs to be met with a warlike resistance and punishment. We despise you because from being lawyer and DPP to Prime Minister, you have been complicit in putting our children in danger for decades. You can draw a line from Jimmy Savile to the Pakistani rape gangs and the tens of thousands of children whose lives have been ruined because of a failure to act, because of cover-ups, denials and cowardice. You will never be forgiven for this. We despise you because you thought a transgender man was a woman. And now you've done a complete U-turn because of the Supreme Court ruling, which is ridiculous that it takes judges years to decide what anyone with a brain already knew. To say that the ruling gives us clarity shows that you're either brain dead or a hypocrite, or both. It was always clear to most of us. You shame our country because when Trump got in power, he didn't need a ludicrously expensive and gratuitous Supreme Court ruling to comprehend basic biology. He just took action to stop men from using women's restrooms and from ruining women's sports. To spend £5 million and years to get a ruling on something so simple and transparent as what men and women are makes us a laughingstock. We despise you for your ridiculous posturing over the Ukraine and your delusional rhetoric about taking on Russia militarily, which means, if it came to it, you would send out our young people to die on your behalf. When, if Putin decided to attack us, we would have paper boats and pea shooters and transgender garters to defend ourselves. Putin is not our enemy. You are. We despise you for not defending our history, its traditions and stories and monuments. You are a disgrace to the country you are meant to be representing. We despise you because you took war criminal Tony Blair's hideous Labour Party legacy and actually made it worse, which was almost impossible, but you managed to find an even lower level to sink to. We despise you because you mocked St George's Day by trying to make it all about diversity, which it isn't. It's about Indigenous British people, and by using it to condemn people who rioted last year. We despise you because the riots were a sign of frustration at the murder of children by a second-generation migrant with radical terrorist sympathies. And you tried to hide the details of the case, which understandably infuriated people. And do you know that St George was a Christian martyr, not a Muslim one? He's also a saint in Russia. We despise you because you let rapists and murderers out of prison, but imprison people for praying, for silly social media posts, including grandparents who are simply worried about their grandchildren's future in a country that is falling apart into a hideous multicultural mush. We despise you for continuing to do nothing about illegal migrants who are impoverishing our country and will destroy its culture, history and heritage. We despise you for making a fool of yourself and our country in the Oval Office at the White House by saying that we have a proud tradition of free speech, when that is the very thing you are destroying, as Trump and Musk and J.D. Vance know very well. We despise you for taking seriously stupid words like Islamophobia, which are simply sticks cloned liberals use to try and squash any criticism of Islam. We despise you for kneeling to toxic, radical, racist ideologies such as Black Lives Matter. We despise you because you have continued to dumb down education to the point where future generations will need to grow extra fingers so they can count and brain implants so they can read and write. Politics shouldn't be about personal feelings, but you have made it personal for anyone who still cares about the degradation and dismantling of England. You are a breath of halitosis in public life. You have the charisma of a squashed banana and the humanity of a cockroach. If you like this video, do please share and subscribe, and I put links below to other things.